Mr. Allsup. I teach animal science, greenhouse, welding, and agriculture systems and technology. So in the animal science classes, we focus mainly on livestock animals, so horses, cows, chickens, pigs, sheep, and goats, okay? So in animal agriculture, to have a sustainable food source, we got to have reproduction, which means we have to have babies, right? To take the place of the old ones. So when we think about the future, we have less land today than we did yesterday, and we have more people today than we did yesterday, which makes a real big problem for animal agriculture, or for agriculture in general, producing food to feed the more mouths with less land. So one way that we can meet the needs of tomorrow is through better genetics, right? What I'm going to kind of demonstrate today is one of the technologies we use in animal agriculture today to help produce better animal products tomorrow. So, for instance, this is a 3D model of a cow, right? A cow is an adult female bovine, okay, that has had a baby. A heifer is an adult female bovine that has not had a baby, okay? So, let's talk about the parts of the animal. Well, let's talk about a couple things first. Okay? What is artificial insemination? Yes, ma'am.
You take the semen, you put it in a syringe, and you stick it in there. And then you let it go.
She does, right? So, it's having sex artificially, if that doesn't make sense, okay? So why would we do such a gross thing? That is like really gross.
Because we get to choose the genes by the way that we breed animals, and so then it's like, the better race stays on.
The what? Oh, there we go. Traits?
Yeah, we get to choose the traits.
I didn't hear that. Good. So that's exactly right. Okay, so let me give you an example, right? So this is a dairy cow, and I'm in Layton, Utah, and I found a better trait bull in Wisconsin. Okay? Now, the old-fashioned way is the bull and the cow have to get together, right? Chocolate, music, flowers, right? But what's the problem with that today? It's expensive, right? It's hard to set the mood. I just thought that. So they don't have online dating as you might think, right? So they can't get together. But, as this young lady said, we want the traits, the better traits. So if that bull in Wisconsin is the Michael Jordan of bulls, what does that mean? He can shoot and run and jump higher than the other bulls? What kind of traits do we want in a dairy cow? Somebody said it. More milk, right? So let's ask this question. What does the average cow today give in milk per day? Nobody knows?
100 pounds.
You've been in this class before, haven't you? So if we were to measure it in gallons, okay, we could say 8 gallons would be average a day. One cow given 8 gallons. What happens if I had a bull in Wisconsin whose daughters gave 12 gallons a day? What's your name? Wow. Maylee said we want the traits from that bull in our herd. And this is a way we would do that, okay? They would collect that bull. Now, that's a whole different situation, but it is artificially collected. And then how do we get it to us? Well, through nuclear technology, we can freeze it, okay? This is an exact container that we would freeze, we'd fill it full of liquid nitrogen, and we would freeze the semen in it, okay? And then they would ship it through FedEx. It would get here in 2 days, or sometimes they'd overnight it to us, okay? Now, how long can you keep semen frozen? I don't understand how. You already answered one. Anybody else? How long can you keep semen frozen? Good. We started freezing semen in the 60s, and we've still got some of that semen frozen today. So as long as we keep it frozen, we can actually keep it viable. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So as long as it stays frozen, shipping it's no big deal. Okay, so we bring it to Utah, and then we'll thaw it. Now let me talk about some of the parts of the cow. I'm gonna turn this off. I'll just yell, okay? Okay, so if I were able to do an x-ray on a cow or whatever, this is what I would see. I would see the uterine horns, the ovaries, okay? The ovaries are at the bottom of the uterine horns. In humans, you may have heard of fallopian tubes, but in cows, they're much bigger and they look like ram's horns. If you could see a ram with horns, the uterine horns look like that. And the ovaries at the bottom. There's two of them, just like other animals, and one they'll alternate dropping an egg every other month. So they'll switch, okay? This little clear part is the uterus, okay? This is the place where the baby will grow. And in a heifer, it's extremely tiny. It's only about a ½ an inch big. To think about that, at ½ an inch, and then a 50 to 65 pound calf being born or being grown in there, it's gonna stretch big time. But in its contracted pregnancy state, it's tiny, okay? Between the uterus and the vagina is the cervix, okay? This is a thick, gristly tissue that has a tube through it, but the tube is not straight and smooth. It actually is gristly, okay? This is the bladder. And then this is the colon and tail, rectum, vulva, okay? Now, blood, semen, urine, water, air, all of these will be detrimental to sperm. They'll kill it, okay? So we want to be as clean as possible. We want to keep everything clean, okay? When we have live cover, when we have a bull actually copulate a cow, he'll deposit his sperm on the inside of the vagina, and it'll have to swim through the cervix into the uterus. That's about the distance comparatively for that sperm to swim a marathon's distance. So really, they're going to swim a long ways. So there's semen and there's sperm. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Say what? Yep, sperm is the male reproductive cell. Then what's the semen? It is the fluid the sperm swims in, okay? It's also the medium that gives energy to the sperm. So the better the semen, the more active or stronger the sperm, okay? So what they'll do is they'll collect it from a bowl, they'll spit it out, okay? And they'll freeze it. They'll put it in these little straws, okay? This will hold about a ½ cc of volume in semen sperm, okay? They'll freeze it, they'll put it in these straws, and they'll ship it. When I get it, I'll put it in a thermos, about 130 degree, 140 degree water, and I'll let it warm in there for about 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, now I told you air is not good for sperm, so we're gonna keep it in the air as little as possible. We don't really want it in the air, okay? So I'm gonna go, like I said earlier, I wanna be as clean as possible because I don't wanna damage any of the sperm. So I'm gonna put clean gloves on. Oh, no. Now one side is not as important as the other side. The other side obviously needs to be long. Okay?
Oh no.
Okay, so I've got my glove on. I got my glove. I will have cleaned everything here because actually, obviously poop comes out the rectum and it'll go right on top of the vulva. And if some of that gets inside the reproductive tract, it can actually cause reproductive issues. It can cause sterilization, it can cause infection, lots of stuff. So we would clean all that, and I would try to do this as fast as I can. I would like to get done within 30 to 45 seconds. So I'm gonna grab my straw, okay? That straw has the name and the time it was collected. listed so I know exactly what bull this was so that I can say those traits. I want the Michael Jordan of bulls. Here he is. He's in here. At least his genetic material is in here. Okay. This is called insemination gun. Okay. It has a sheath on it, just a plastic sheath, again, to keep everything clean. I'm going to put it over the top of the gun, and then I'm going to insert the straw on the end, just like that, okay? Now I've got my gun. This is the dirty part, okay? I'm going to put my hand, not where you might think. I'm going to put this in the rectum, okay? And yeah, there's what in there? Yeah, there's poop in there. I don't want to take that out. I actually want to leave it in there because air bubbles can actually cause things to kink, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to make a torpedo. I'm going to go under the poop, okay? I need to get past the cervix, and I'm going to make a swipe. And I'm going to grab the cervix with my thumb and my fingers. Can you see that? Then I'm going to take with my offhand, and yes, I am going to insert it in the vagina. Okay.
I was just going to sit there.
I'm going to go through the vagina. Now, this is the bladder. If I point down, where am I going? Right, so I want a 15-degree uphill. I'm going to find that cervix, and I'm going to manipulate the gun so that I can thread the needle. Does this make sense? How many of you are recording me? Okay, I'm going to go through the cervix as best I can. I got to thread it through. What? I do have to be somewhat careful because this is all just thin-walled membrane. If I poke this hard enough, I can poke through the wall of the vagina, into the cavity, any blood, anything, and obviously all the infection that can be caused. So I have to be somewhat careful. Okay, now once I'm through the cervix, okay, if I keep pushing that gun, I'll go up one or the other of the uterine horns. If I go up the opposite side of the uterine horn, okay, that means that the egg that drops on the other side will never get the sperm. Okay, so I actually just want to go just enough that I'm 1/4 to 1/2 inch inside the uterus, and then I'm going to shoot the sperm in. Okay, then I'm done. Pull it back out, remove my hand, and if everything's done as accordingly as we hope, I should have deposited that semen before the egg dropped. Okay. So I want that egg to drop after I've inseminated, because the sperm will swim up the uterine horn, and it'll find that ovary, and it will be present at the time that egg drops. The sperm is attracted to that hormone, and so they'll follow the hormone, almost like a smell. They'll follow it. So they'll be headed towards the ovary, if that makes sense. Okay, then it will fertilize that egg. The egg will float down the ovary, and it will find the uterus, and it will attach to the uterine wall. And then the baby will grow, and in 9 months, for cows, it's the same as humans. It'll push that baby through the cervix. It'll go through the cervix, through the vagina, and out the vulva, and you'll have a baby on the ground, if all is well. What do you think?
That is awesome!